Hello. Happy weekend, my people. Let me see if I got anyone here. Can you please see me yet? I hope so. Hi, everyone. It's Saturday. Let's give it a few minutes while I share. And now it looks like I lost connection. Wow. Wow. This is interesting. Hi. Um, let's see what we can do to remedy the situation. But Shalatran, can you still hear me even though you don't see me? You're watching. Please confirm if you can still hear me even though you don't see me. Please kindly confirm. I know I saw that my video went off. If you can still, you can't see me, but you can hear me, right? Okay. Thank you so much for being my, thank you so much. I appreciate you for being my test buddy this morning. Thank you so much. It's interesting how I just hit the live button and everything just went off. Oh God, the life of a. Hey, thank you all for joining. Thank you so much. Give me a second. I'm happy you can still hear me. Give a few. I see my friend Primus is here. I'm gonna bring Primus up, okay? And again, remember we are here to chat about what tech can do for us. And Primus is here. I'm gonna bring him up. You'll be able to see him, but give me a few minutes while I try to fix my video. But again, you'll be able to hear. So hey, Primus, thank you so much for joining. And let me bring you up right now.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. But I can't see
Yes.
you.
Yeah, you can see me because my video just went off. So I
Oh,
was chatting with Charlatan on there, and he was like, "Oh, your video is off, but that's fine. I'm
okay.
fixing it." But again, thanks a lot for joining. I do appreciate you. I
You're
appreciate your
welcome.
time.
Sorry, I'm
And
coming late. I'm just jumping from class. So,
oh, this is not late, man. It's 3 minutes past our scheduled time. It's not
okay.
late. So, and to think that you're here when my video is not even working.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
and thank you so much to have jumped out of class and you're here, man.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you so much. Thanks a lot. So
Anytime.
yep, we're gonna start talking. Then I'll have my daughter, who is my techie help, try to see if she can fix my video.
All
Okay.
right. All right. Sure. No
Yes,
problem.
but we can just go ahead and talk. So thank you all so much for joining. And please, if you join, kindly share. Let's do this. And so again, a lot of you must have met Primus before. You've probably seen his face on this page more than once. And but again, if someone just joins us and they just want to chat, they want to know a little bit about who Primus is, right? Again, this is not one of those intense ones that I come on and I say, Primus, give us the details of everything, right? It's just like, hey, if someone jumps onto this video and they want to know who Primus is, please give us a little Primus intro, if you don't mind.
Okay. So Primus is a tech enthusiast. So I love to talk about technology. I've been in technology for a while. I've learned a lot in technology, and you know, uh, I have an institution or an organization that trains people to get started in IT. I also have an organization that helps. get hire people who are in IT and place them in projects out there. That organization is called Primus Cloud Solutions. And I've worked in different roles within the IT space, so I'm comfortable in the IT space, and I can talk about IT any day, anytime. And yeah, that's why I'm here, just to share ideas and share ways through which people can um, you know get started with IT if they are willing to, or even those who are already in IT can switch to other things as far as career development is concerned, right? In IT, you always want to continue to grow. You always want to have additional skills, right? You always want to learn new things because IT continuously evolves. Things that you're using today may be out of use in the next 5 years, and so technology continues to evolve, and so we too have to continue to develop ourselves and develop the skills. I see you had a certification just the other day, and that's awesome, in AI. So you see that there is AI now which is making waves out there, and if you can get certified and already be looking at the benefits that will come with that, it's amazing. So that's what IT is all about: continuously developing ourselves and making sure that you stay relevant in the market. And yeah, that's where I am.
Yes, great. And again, if we looked at the flyer we had on here, it's like, hey, are you? And what did we even say on that flyer again? Now I'm using my phone, so I don't even have my phone to check again. But sorry, excuse me. But then the whole idea is being able to encourage more and more people to join the IT space.
Right.
There are a lot of people who they're intimidated by the whole idea of IT. They feel scared. They feel like, hey, this is not for me, or maybe this is too much for me. And one of the reasons I love to talk to someone like you is the fact that you have that ability to demystify the IT world, right? And I bet that that is one of the things that a lot of people look for. People want to be able to say, hey, you know what? I can actually do this thing. And this is what I'd love for you and I to kind of chat through today,
Okay.
to go out and say, okay, does it really matter? We've talked about it a ton of times. Does it really matter what you do? Does it really matter if you are um, a computer science engineer? If you have background in computer engineering, does it really matter? And if it doesn't matter, what is it that I know on one of my live videos, I did mention that IT is a very big it's a very big space, right? There is a lot that is going on in that IT space, and different people can do different stuff in there. So that's also one thing I want us to be able to talk through. Again, we can only talk through the ones that we are familiar with, the ones that you probably offer at Primus Learning. Then just talk through them. Then we'll probably be able to take some questions too, depending on the number of people that join us. But first of all, I want us to start by this whole, who is IT for? Who would you say? Who is IT for?
Right. So IT has become very, very broad, such that it's for everyone. There is absolutely nothing that you can do currently and not have to deal with IT. Right. There's even farming. You discover that farming has a lot of technology going on when it comes to uh, real farming. If you want to do farming that is
Yeah.
substantial, you have to deal with IT. You have to deal with technology. You have to deal with a lot of machinery and how that those machines are built. And right now there is what is called IoT
Yeah.
devices, which are all connected with machines, Internet of Things, right? Most of those machines now are connected to the internet, and so we discover that even in farming, you can use tools that are connected to the internet and be able to really benefit from technology even as you are a farmer. And so IT is for everyone right now. And if you specifically want to work in the IT field, you can come from any background. We've had people in our training programs who come from completely non-IT backgrounds, and they become so good in the market. They become so good in IT. And so this IT is for everyone actually. When I talk of everyone, I talk of people who are from English language backgrounds, people who are from philosophy backgrounds. I came from a philosophy theology background, so people who with theology degrees, philosophy degrees, you can become IT experts. If you are from a chemistry background, a physics background, a mathematics background, a psychology background, a sociology background, whatever background that you are from, you can join IT and really excel, right? It all depends on your ability to adapt. That is what is needed. You need time, you need sacrifices, you need to make sacrifices to learn. And it begins by picking the right thing to learn. So, as we mentioned, IT is so broad. There are IT career paths that are very technical, and there are those that are not even technical. So you begin to hear of different career paths in IT. So let's talk about Scrum, for instance. Scrum is it has to deal with IT, but it deals more with your communication skills. So those who
Yeah.
can communicate better can really be good in IT. And in what space? In spaces like project management, in spaces like agile methodologies, following the agile methodologies to help IT teams to realize their projects. That is IT. Right, you use IT tools. What are some of the tools you'll be using as a Scrum Master? You begin
Yeah.
to hear of Jira, you begin to hear of Confluence, you begin to hear of different tools that you leverage to facilitate your work, right? And so
Yeah.
there are programs that you can do. There's Scrum Master, there is DevOps, which is somewhere in between technical and not too technical, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
that's a course that can really most people can fit in because it's somewhere between technical and not very technical. So it's
Technical.
somewhere in between. So if you're somebody who can learn something new and is willing to put in the time and do it and put the efforts, because it's all about putting in the time. If you don't put in the time in any of these things, you will not be good. There are a lot of people who have trained and they don't have jobs because they have not put in the time, they have not sacrificed. And there are other things, right? There are other things still within IT that you can learn. There is business intelligence. Business intelligence is very easy, but there are some parts of it that are a little bit technical. So you need to
Yeah.
learn a little bit of Python. You need to learn a little bit of different tools within Python. So you learn how to
Mm-hmm.
use packages and so on and so forth. And then you learn tools like Tableau, like Power BI, and a language that communicates with the databases, which is SQL. And you also have to learn about databases, what they are, the different types of databases. Those are some kind of technical things. But as you grow, right, as you grow into it, you see that these are very common things. They
Yeah.
are so common once you've put in the time and learned them. You just need to learn them just once. And once you know
Yeah.
them, you are very good at it. And trust me, you can get in. So there are other IT parts like data analysis that are not very technical. And if you have skill sets like just Excel, if you're very good in Excel, if you have skill sets like analyzing data, if you are from an economics background, those are fields that you can get in IT and grow to become a real big person in IT
Yep.
within the data analytics team or within the data analysis team or different teams in IT. So there are different things in IT that are non-technical, and there are those that are that are very technical. When you're
Technical.
talking about the very technical ones here, you can begin to talk of software engineering. You can be talking of
Mm-hmm.
core programming. You can be talking of AI. You can be talking of some of those ones. And even within the AI space, there are those that are not too technical because
Yep.
you can you can become somebody an AWS um, data engineer, for instance. What
Yep.
you need in that kind of role is to understand how AWS works, understand how databases work, and be able to relate with those, right? Be able to move
Mm-hmm.
data from different sources, bring it to AWS, store it in AWS storage systems. There are different storage systems, right? You hear of file
Yeah.
storage systems, you hear of relational database types, you have NoSQL storage systems. If you understand those storage systems, you're able to store data in it and you're able to transform that data. There are tools in AWS that are
To
already
use.
built in
Mm-hmm.
to use. So if you understand, for instance, Glue in AWS, you understand Athena, you understand how data catalogs work, you understand how
Mm-hmm.
data is transformed. You can use Glue to transform data and and put that data in systems like data warehousing systems, Redshift, and you use processing tools in AWS like EMR, you build on, and you become a big data engineer in no time, an AWS data engineer in no time. And that, what does that take? It takes a little bit of dedication, which means you can get into IT, start somewhere, and begin to transition into other roles as you learn things, right?
Mm.
And these
Yep.
things are not, they're not difficult. Most of them have been built. Most of them have been built by the core people who are very technical, and
Mm.
it's just functional. When we talk of functional IT specialists, people who use IT tools that have been built to to enhance work in organizations, and mostly most organizations need the functional type of people, and that's what you can become by just starting something. Uh, it always boils down to starting. If you don't get
Yep.
started, that's where you're hooked. So it always
Yep.
boils down to getting started, and you can become anything. And that's, I think your the title of your show, your
Yep.
podcast
It says
is
you can be anything.
you can just be anything, anything that you want to become. So
Yep.
I think it's all about getting started, and then getting started the right way, and
Yeah.
keeping consistent, and trust me, you can become anything in IT.
Yeah. So one of the things I know, you can hear me, right? I know
Yes,
that my gadgets are messing up a little bit.
yeah, I
One of
can.
the things I know that when talking to people, people do bring up is the whole idea of where to start, right? We encourage people to start. We're like, hey, go ahead. You need to start from somewhere.
Right,
And now, just based on what you've said today, listening to you talk, you talked about, hey, you're starting. I know a few days ago, I made a video on Scrum Master. Some of them came for me because they had misunderstood me to feel to say that the Scrum Master role is not relevant. Like there is no way Scrum Master will not be relevant in this life, right?
right,
Because these builders, these developers, they need this agile methodology to keep them on track, to like do checks and balances before the final product goes live.
right,
So Scrum Masters are doing an amazing job. My call out to Scrum Masters that day was like, hey, what about you learn something else? What about you learn something not to change your role, but know a little more,
right,
right? So that when the developers are working and all of that, you kind of understand what they're doing. You don't need to develop, but at
right,
least you know what they're doing. You see it. And who knows? I always say, you might be able to find your niche. You just whenever I hear people make mention of SQL, I'm like, when I learned, excuse me, my voice is cracking. When I learned SQL, I was like, what the heck? And I keep telling you how much the Linux interface just drives me crazy. You get it? But then the time when I learned SQL and database administration, I've carried that knowledge of SQL since 2016 till today. I
right,
still use it till today to query databases, right?
right.
So it is that opportunity to see that no skill that you learn as you're ongoing is useless. You'll be shocked at the places where those skills will be needy. Sometimes
Exactly.
I talked about Excel, right? It is these recent years that I've known how to actually do all the crazy formulas on Excel and how it will make your data migration and data work easy.
Right,
In fact, you cannot even start to explain that. You get it? And
right,
so
right,
I do think that it is very, people have these skills, they don't value it, they feel like, oh, what the heck is that even? But then these are skills that I used to call my elder sister all the way in the UK to say, man, I'm doing this VLOOKUP and it's not working right. I'm trying to do this thing and it's not working right. But these are skills that we have people who carry these skills in them. You can
right,
get
right.
into the data spaces in IT, in the IT world, and make use of it. You get it?
Absolutely,
And
absolutely. It's
yeah.
so let me jump on the Scrum Master stuff, right? I
Mhm.
think a lot of us from Africa, from Cameroon, from different countries in Africa, we have the opportunity to learn Scrum and become good at it. It's There are companies out there that are hiring. It's very good, but trust me, for you to be a good Scrum Master, you need to understand other things. There is
Yeah.
no way you become a good Scrum Master without understanding how other things in IT work. You need to understand the other components of IT, how they work, and understand terminologies in IT to be able to become a good Scrum Master. So Take for instance, you're working in a technology, because most of scrum masters work in
The technology
technology
space.
projects, in,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, right, in projects that are IT related. So take for
Mm-hmm.
instance, you are working with a team that is all technical, and you are the only non-technical person, and you are supposed to be coordinating efforts to achieve a technical project.
Go.
Imagine
Yep.
they are talking and you don't understand anything, and you're supposed to help lead them. You're supposed to help coordinate efforts to make sure that that work is done, communicate and bring ideas together, meet different people, set up meetings, and talk through projects. How would you do that if you don't understand terminologies in IT, if you don't understand
Mhm.
how different things work? So you need to be able to understand. Scrum, you don't learn Scrum Master in 2 weeks. You can learn Scrum concept in 2 weeks, but you don't become a Scrum Master in 2 weeks.
Two
You
weeks.
learn
Yeah.
Scrum concepts and learn tools that you use in Scrum in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 1 month. You can do that, but you don't become a Scrum Master in 1 month. You become a Scrum Master over time when you're able to understand that, hey, there is a database component to the application that these people are building. There is a networking component. There is something like deployment. When you're talking about deployment, you mean this. There is
Yeah.
something like infrastructure. When you're talking about infrastructure, you mean this. When you're talking about servers, you mean this. And this is what this person is working on. A, for instance, is a solutions architect in my team. He's helping build the infrastructure part. What is he referring to as infrastructure? Or he has to build a server, he has to build this network, this VPC is not working, I need to do this. When he's talking about that, you understand that he's talking about the networking component. When they are saying, hey, this database is not able to connect here, I have this error, and then you as a scrum master, you're assigning them a ticket, you should
Mm-hmm.
be able to understand that they are talking about an endpoint not being able to connect to
Yep.
something, an application not being able to connect to something. So it's not like you just become a scrum master in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks or in 4 weeks. No, you learn scrum concepts and scrum tools in that time frame. But to become a scrum master, you need to learn other things. You need to learn what databases are. You need to learn what, understand the language that you use SQL to connect to a database. You need to understand that networking is how information travels, is how something moves from one place to another. You need to understand that servers is where you can store and run applications, that there are different ways that you deploy applications, and that to deploy means to build an
Move from one
application
environment to the
and
other.
make it available, right? Yes. So if you don't understand those terminologies, if you don't understand, if I feel like scrum masters should be people who are who have been in the IT space for long, they've understood it, but they just want to be relaxed this time. They don't want to get so involved with the technical stuff. They just want to focus on communicating it and bringing it together. That's what I feel a scrum master should be. And so
You're
if
talking from the perspective of a developer.
right, so right, maybe, but so a scrum master really shouldn't just be somebody who learns for 2 weeks and then jumps on and but what what you should do is learn the concept, learn the
Yeah.
tools, and then begin to build on top of that. Build on top of that, learn other things, add them to it, and become good at it. And trust me, you become a very good scrum master. You can move from role to role in your work as a scrum master. So it's very relevant. That's a very relevant role. It's needed in the market, it's hot in the market, but the way you go about it matters. So I thought
Yep.
I thought it's good we talk about this because so many people misunderstand when we say, hey, maybe Scrum you can learn for 1 month, and they're like, oh my God, I'll learn for 1 month and make
And become a scrum
150K and
master.
make a
Yep.
100K and so on and so forth. No, you don't become a Scrum Master in 1 month. You learn Scrum concepts in 1 month. You can even get certified in 1 month. But after that,
Mm-hmm.
what matters is your knowledge. As a scrum master, you need to understand other things, you need to know other things as well, to become really good and become a real scrum master.
Yep, that's amazing. Again, people, excuse me, I'm talking. I'm happy people can hear me. And if you cannot hear me in the comment section, please let me know. There is a serious lag with my video. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure
can
what's
see. I can
happening.
see that
Yeah,
it's kind of
it's okay. It's making
yeah.
me look so sleepy and stuff, but hey, forgive me for that. Um, Just please confirm that you can hear me on the comment section. I know Primus just confirmed that he can hear me, so that's good. I am assuming that you can hear me too. So we'll just keep it going. So I'm happy that you explained that, right? And the whole intention here is for people to be able to start from somewhere. As I said in one of my shows, I did mention that I came in contact with someone that wanted to learn. They heard me talk about Salesforce. They were excited about Salesforce. They wanted to get into tech. If you, and I always say that you AWS, you people are carrying all my people reach out to me that they want to learn Salesforce, but because I am not so selfish, I tell them about the different IT spaces, and I'll bet you that um 3 out of 5 people that I talk to about AWS and Salesforce, they always go to Salesforce, to AWS. So I'm beginning to feel lonely in this space for some reason. I don't know why, but again, it's important when I coach people, when I'm a mentor to people, I try to make sure that we are looking at what works for you,
Right, right,
right?
absolutely.
I think that it's important that it's not only about wanting more people to come do Salesforce with me, but hey, what works for you as a person? And in most cases, I wouldn't lie to you, it's been majority of them have gone to the see. Now it's making me speak so fast. Can you see my video?
Yes, I can
This
see
is
your
funny.
video, and it's kind of fast,
It's
and then it gets slow.
slow. I don't know what happened for real. I don't know. But you know what?
No, that's
That's
okay.
it. It's so funny, but that's okay. But then, so for the people that I wanted us to talk a little bit about, let's talk more about the different courses that you offer at Primus Learning, right? And the reason I know your DevOps course is currently going on, and that is just one of them. And before we even go to talk about the other courses that you offer, can you please give in layman's terms, okay?
Right.
What is DevOps? What does it mean for somebody to learn DevOps?
Okay, so DevOps is DevOps is a series of concepts and technologies and tools, right? So when we talk about DevOps, it's just um you know the idea that an organization is building software. They need to make that
Mhm,
software available in the market. So you have different teams that can help realize that process, right? So you have the developers out there, and then you have the people who are building the servers, the machines where these applications need to be deployed or need to run, right? Is another term
mhm.
for deploying something to make that thing run and work, so
Yeah.
that people can access it from the browser, so that you can see Facebook the way it is. You can access it, you can access Google, you can access WhatsApp. So organizations were dealing with a lot of challenges when it comes to getting that thing deployed out there, getting that thing to run, getting the applications after the developers have built the code, actually coded it out, and getting it to be available so that users like you and I can use it. And so the concept of DevOps came about, where there's a bridge between that team that is developing the applications. You see here the DevOps part, so the team that is building the code itself, and then the operations part of it. For the code to actually operate, to work, right, you had another team that will take that work that developers have done, and then they will understand it. They will need to understand it for some time before making it available. So DevOps, therefore, is a concept that came around just about 2010, I think, and to bridge the gap between those two teams. That's why you hear it's a combination of dev and ops. So it's
Mm,
like a gap breacher between the developers and the teams that are working, maybe deploying the infrastructure and maintaining the security, the networking, and all of those other things, right? So the
mhm,
DevOps person comes in to enhance that work, to get the code from the developers and make it easy so that the developers can push that code and forget about it. All they can focus on is doing the coding, right? Once they have coded it out, they hand it over to the DevOps person, the infrastructure person, and the networking person. They should not worry about deploying the applications. And so the DevOps person's work is therefore to sit in that middle and use some tools that have been built. That's why I talked of concepts and tools. Use tools that have been built. You hear different types of tools, right? You'll be learning different types of tools that you use in the process. And to build an automated process so that once that developer pushes his code out, it doesn't need to pass through somebody again. It's just your process that automatically triggers things to clean up that code, to check if there are any vulnerabilities in that code, to check if there are any challenges in that code, any bugs in that code. Once those processes have checked, they automatically deploy that code. The process of deployment is when you build that code and make it available to users. It can be deployed in servers like AWS instances, or like machines. Servers are simply machines, right? Like laptops, huge laptops that run on systems. You hear of Linux systems, you hear of Windows systems, you hear of different types of systems out there, right? And so once it's been built, it will be deployed out there. And of course, once it's deployed, you can then begin to talk of the application becoming available. So that's the work of a DevOps engineer. So DevOps is that process, the whole process and tools that enhances that move that enhances the process from the developers to the to actually releasing that code and making it available. That's what DevOps is all about. I think we lost Solange here. Sorry, I'm sure she will be joining back very soon. Yes, I see her joining back. And she's gone again. But yeah, that's what DevOps is all about, guys. So don't I see her
You
coming
don't.
back again.
Oh, you don't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but you dropped.
Oh God. Because you see what is happening is my video is not syncing with my words. So I kicked myself out to see if it was going to help, but that's fine. Yeah, so when you talk of DevOps,
Right.
somebody that chooses to learn DevOps, right? They are learning the process of connecting this, like bringing the code. So would you say DevOps is more on, is it a process? Is there a tool that people get to learn how to use? Or, like, again, I just won't be able, because somebody asked me this question and I kind of struggled a little bit. So that's why I asked you, so you can kind of
Right.
explain a little bit to help me.
Okay.
um
Yeah, so it's a process and tools. So as I was
and
saying,
tools
it's a
both.
it's a process and tools. You use
Mhm.
there are processes in place. So DevOps processes are those processes that enhance the movement of that code from the developers
Mhm.
to deployment. You use agile methodologies even to do that, right? There are processes that are all linked to your Jira environment, to your Confluence environment. It's all linked to how that DevOps is done, right? And then there are tools. You have a lot of tools that you will learn as a DevOps engineer to be able to automate the processes, to be able to use those to be able to put those processes in place. So you hear tools like Jenkins, Kubernetes. You hear tools like GitHub Actions. You hear tools
Mhm.
like GitHub itself. You hear so many tools out there. Ansible. You hear tools like Docker and many other tools, right? We have so many other tools that you learn. Those tools will enhance the processes that you'll be putting in place. So it's a
Yeah.
combination of processes and tools. And you need to
Mhm.
be good in those processes and also good in the tools to be able to become an effective DevOps engineer.
To become, okay. Yeah, that's a good one. And would you say this is one of those skills that doesn't necessarily need a high level of technicality? Will you?
Yeah, so it falls somewhere between technical and non-technical. So it's not too
Mhm.
technical and it's not not technical. So let me put it out. So it's in between. Because why
Yeah.
am I saying this? This is because you will learn a little bit of Python programming, you will learn a
Mhm.
little bit of scripting, you will learn Linux, you will learn how systems work, you learn SQL, you learn how databases work, and all of those things. Those tools are not too technical, but they are somewhere in between, right?
Yeah.
Because a little bit of programming in Python, a little bit of scripting, you need to be a little bit analytical to do that. Yeah, and you have to learn other components that are a bit technical to understand, right? So you need to learn how servers work, how networking works, how you talk to a database through SQL, how databases themselves work, how version control works, how Gate and different systems work. So you need to at
Mm-hmm.
least be somewhere. But the process starts from zero. We start with you from zero, knowing nothing, to becoming you're really good in all these tools and processes. So somebody who is simply analytical and has no idea in IT can become a very good DevOps engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's an open space to be in too. So it's a good place to also start with no required level of knowledge,
Right.
right? To join the space, which is okay, that's good. Thank you for explaining that. Again, let's go back to Primus Learning and talk a little bit about the different things that you offer, the different courses. I know it's not only DevOps that you offer at Primus Learning. There is a DevOps class ongoing, but what are the other courses that you offer at Primus Learning?
Yeah, so we have different sessions of DevOps going, right? Because the demand for DevOps now is a little bit high because
Oh.
most the market is, after COVID, most people know that they need to automate stuff, and so
Mm-hmm.
DevOps services are a little bit high now. So that's why we have different sessions of DevOps going on. But there are
Okay.
other courses that we offer, right? There's cybersecurity. If you want to learn to become a SOC analyst, for instance, you can join our cybersecurity courses. There is the way Primus Learning operates, we have courses online, which is managed by the global team, the US team, the team that is based in the US. We have
Mm-hmm.
a team that is based in Nigeria. We have a team that is based in Cameroon. We have offices in Cameroon. We have another team that is starting already in Senegal, and we have a French team that is starting in Cameroon. So within these, we have different courses. In Nigeria, we have courses that are, courses in digital marketing, courses in web development, courses in different things. Machine learning. I think there's a course on machine learning that is coming in Nigeria, and
Mm-hmm.
and those will be offered online too, but uh, offered by the Nigerian team. But that's still
Mm-hmm.
Primus Learning. And then in Cameroon, we have different courses: cloud computing, DevOps, machine learning as well. We have web development, we have digital marketing, and digital skills in general,
Yeah.
and other courses as well that are going on in Cameroon. In Senegal, we'll start with DevOps. There's a session that is coming out for DevOps. The French section in Cameroon, we have a course that will be starting in DevOps as well. So there are different courses that we offer. We evaluate what is happening in the market, and then we
Mm-hmm.
design a course for it. Primus Learning Global has another course that is coming up, which is business intelligence slash business analytics, which
Yep.
means you can learn to become a business intelligence developer or a
Mm-hmm.
business analyst or
Intelligence analyst.
analytics. Yes, exactly,
Yep.
analytics kind of expert within
Wow.
within the AWS space. So
Mm-hmm.
that will introduce you to tools in AWS so that you can really get into the market quicker. But you will learn tools like Tableau. You learn tools like Power BI, Python and Python packages, Madlib Plus. You learn different tools, how to manipulate data with Python packages. You learn a ton of tools in AWS like S3, Glue, EMR, because you need to be able to process data as a
Mm-hmm.
analytics person. And you need to understand a lot more things than just when you hear of business intelligence, you think only of Tableau and Power BI. No, this one
Yeah.
will go beyond those tools to something else.
Oh, that's my previous learning is global.
Yes, it
Primus
is.
Learning, congratulations, man. This is good. You're
Thank you.
doing great. Primus Learning is global. I know that I do have followers that are based in Cameroon. And so, Primus Learning in Cameroon, where are they?
We have an office in Boya. The office
Mm-hmm.
is just after I don't know Boya very well, but it's Great Support, somewhere Great
It's
Support near GHS. GHS, yeah, is it no
mm,
BHS, right? BHS
BHS. Okay.
Great Support Boya. There is another center in Douala. Don't know the description very well, but we have a center in Boya and in Douala. So
For
there's one
now.
that will be
Okay.
coming up in Yaoundé very soon. But those are the current
Okay, I'm not sure if this is me again. I know that my internet has been crazy this morning. I don't know if I lost Primus or Primus lost me. I don't see any comments at all since I saw Charlatan's comment. So if you're on here, please just let me know where you're watching from. I know that my connection is crazy. Um, but please, if you don't mind to kindly comment to see if let me see if I can hear you. I will appreciate that a lot. My connection has been crazy this morning. I did not expect that. But oh yeah, I lost Primus. Let's see if you'll be able to rejoin. And again, the reason you don't see me is because there is a lag in my camera. And oh, thank you so much, Nancy, for joining. I appreciate. Thank you. I've had a crazy connection morning, and my camera lags is lagging. I'm talking, and everything is just lagging. But yeah, I wish I might have should have just gone live directly on Facebook instead of using my software. But that's okay. So I do appreciate you all for joining. I'll see. Let's give Primus a few minutes to see if he's able to join again. I just did not want to leave a black screen. Again, you see, I'm talking, but it's not syncing with my mouth. My video and my talk they're not syncing. Okay, Primus is back here.
Think kick me out.
Something I banned. So many things are happening. I will not be surprised that
I know.
I kick you out. So many
Yes.
things are happening.
I know. Anyhow, thank God we're back.
Yeah, that's a good part. You see, it's even lagging. I can hear you means the guest should be able to hear you. But do you see yourself yet on the?
Yeah, I see myself, but not on this on your podcast
You
profile.
don't see. So you should be there already. What the
Uh,
heck is happening today? Like
I love your system today. This is technology. We
this
need to
is,
improve.
and man, I'm not in the mood to debug anything, right? I don't even have the energy. You know, those days that you wake up and like, that's why I said I just switched things, called my daughter to come change my camera to my phone. But it's telling me that my internet connection is crazy. But I should have checked. I could check on my phone to see what's happening.
Yeah,
But
but I can see you now very well. But
am
I
I
can't
when I'm
see.
talking? Is it syncing with
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm saying?
it's syncing now, but
Oh
I don't
God!
see myself on your
But that's not what
broad
you did.
on stream.
Okay, this is crazy.
Yeah, I see myself now
There we
perfectly.
go,
Yeah,
man. It's been a crazy. Again,
I
shout out
know.
to my baby sister Ice the Oos. It's her birthday today.
Oh, happy
She
birthday!
she called me when I was about to connect with you, so maybe she has joined my village people too. She's like, "How dare you not take my call on my birthday?" But I was
Wow.
already about to get on live with you,
Okay.
so shout out to you, Icy. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday!
Yeah.
Joyful
Primus, yeah, we
day.
were talking about how global Primus learning has gone and the fact that people in Cameroon now, Boya Douala, and you said upcoming Yaoundé will join this whole learning. Again, I call it, and I talk about learning, getting into the tech space with intentionality
Right.
and not just going to learn computer engineering, but going to learn an aspect of IT, of information technology that will make you relevant, that will be able, that can you can use to define a role and say, hey, in the IT space, this is what I can do.
Right.
And that is what I love most about the whole Primus learning. And I feel like it's going to take away that general education concept that we've had growing up in Cameroon, where you learn everything about something and you're a master of none,
Known.
right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I ask myself, why do I need all of this knowledge? See now how that thing has frozen with my eyes up. Why do I need all of this knowledge if I cannot be a master of, if I cannot be a master of one and talk to it and say, hey, this is what I know how to do, this is what I am doing. You
Right.
get it? So kudos to the to going global with Primus Learning. And one thing I talked about on my show yesterday that I would love for you to talk to us about is the learning style. Let's talk about, so how are you, oh God, how was the best way to say this? what is the learning style for at Primus Learning? Because I bet you understand my question.
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay, all right
So
then.
the way we translate or transmit our courses is unique to Primus Learning.
Mhm.
So we do a kind of blend of very practical and also theory,
Yeah.
because most of the tools you need to understand the architectures of the various tools, like how
Mhm.
the tools are built, right? Those are a little That's a little bit of theory right there, but we break it down in practical ways. So our
Mhm.
courses are very practical in nature. So what we do is come to class every day. We'll teach concepts for like 30 minutes, and then we go into practicals. We demo what we are talking about, show the students how to do it. One student to share their screen and do it themselves. They will do it. The next student will share their screen and do it themselves, and then we'll give them an assignment to go back and do that same thing
Yeah. Oh, is my internet kicking him out again? No, I'm so sorry. We should have just made this an audio podcast, you know?
the pipeline themselves. So
Yeah.
it's all hands-on, practical, with a little blend of theory, and we take into consideration where the students are coming from. Right, like you are from no IT background and you want to learn this thing, so we understand that, and we start with an introduction to IT in general. So we start
Mhm.
with those basics. We try to give you what a computer is, what makes up this computer system, and at what point do you begin to use that computer system to communicate with somebody? I'm on this call, we are chatting live here. At what point does that machine translate, something to make me to be able to talk with you the way we are talking?
Yeah.
So once we've reached that level, we then begin to build on top of it with other tools, with other things. So we start really from scratch, from zero, to begin becoming practical. And then when they are comfortable, understanding how the system works, understanding how things work, then we go into DevOps. We introduce them to DevOps concepts. Then we begin to learn the tools one by one. So all the tools are practical. They will do them, and then after that they build projects, right? So they will build projects, and those are the projects that they will be using in interviews to talk about. Now, this is unique. I'm an interviewer. I've been interviewing candidates for uh, organizations that I work for the past 4 or 5 years now. And what I do in interviews is I've had the opportunities to interview as many Cameroonians, Africans, whites, anybody as you can imagine, right? So sometimes a week I interview 4 or 5 people, and there are different types of candidates that I interview. I get
Mhm.
the opportunity to interview entry level candidates. Especially here in the US. So entry level candidates are those people who graduate maybe from a master's program in IT or a computer science program on undergraduate, right? When they graduate, they need to be hired in organizations. So we organize meetings to bring all those types of candidates in. And when we bring them in, what is unique about that is we are expecting them to have experience, some kind of experience. You need to have some kind of experience on your resume
Yeah, that
to
thing
be
always beats me.
to be hired as an entry level person. So how do
Yeah.
you get that experience?
Yep.
So all what you're doing in your computer science classes or your information technology classes, those that's the experience. So all the time you're building mini projects. You know the
Mhm.
mini projects you build in school. Those are the ones that we use as your experience. So you put like you have 2 or 3 years experience. It's the same thing with Primus Learning. So if after that program in school, you come in with 2 years experience. That's where you start your training in
Yep.
when you get hired as an entry level. Let's say you decide to choose the career path, which is DevOps, or you decide to choose the career path, which is software engineering. That's when you start learning the practical part. With Primus Learning, we teach you all that practical part in no time, in 1 year, in 6 months, in 7 months. And the person who got into tech with that entry level it will take him 5 years to learn those tools in the job. But you who is training with us, you can learn and become the same at the same level with
Level.
the person, the entry level person who has 5 years experience. So that's how practical we get, right? We get right to exactly what you'll be doing at your job. So if you get hired and you're working in the same team with a person who passed through the entry level process, you'll be at the same level. You'll be working the same, getting paid the same, but you have different experiences. The difference is that the person who went through school has more knowledge on other areas, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why and other areas of computing. That's why they will know about networking and other things. They can grow faster than you who came in that through the other process.
The
But what
training.
we advise our trainees or people who graduate from Primus Learning is you don't focus on this kind of African mentality where you have arrived. You
Oh
begin to make
boy,
money.
please let's not talk about that. That's a whole topic on its
Yeah,
own.
where you begin to make money and you feel like you've arrived. You don't want to
Mm.
learn any other thing. That's where that development comes in, like that we were talking about continuous learning. You learn new
Yes.
tools, you learn new tech, you get certified, you learn. So it's a continuous process, and you can become very good if you decide to go this route, right? You can become so good if you're consistent, learning new things, and even and why not enroll in a university, get a master's in IT. That's the system here in the US. With a degree in English language or in philosophy, or mine was philosophy, I went straight into a master's in information technology after gaining the experience that I had. After working for some time in IT, because I joined IT, I didn't have a degree in IT. But eventually, with my experience and with my resume in IT, they admitted me, and I did some courses and hit my A's, of course, and passed through it. And they gave me full admission, and I did a master's in IT, which means your experience covers for all the years that you didn't do
A bachelor, say.
a bachelor's in that
Mhm.
field. And then you can learn, get a master's, and of course even a PhD in IT. That's I'll be completing very soon. I'll be announcing on your show very soon.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah, so
whoa.
that's in IT, which means you can leave from a non-IT background to becoming something um spectacular in IT. You can build a career for yourself in IT, which is amazing. So the training method is very practical. We are intense when it comes to the practical part, because we teach you exactly what you'll be doing at your job, but it entails also continuous learning after that. We have a formula that we follow after class, and that formula stipulates that you have to study for at least 2 hours every day after you graduate from Primus Learning, which means, and we give you like a series of things that you can learn. We give you, hey,
Mm-hmm.
learn database management systems, learn networking, and we give you videos and resources to use to learn those
Mm-hmm.
things, right? So it's a continuous process. Once you join this program, it becomes a continuous process if you really want to grow and become somebody useful, and see yourself not in one place, not just a DevOps engineer in 5 years. You want to
Yeah.
see yourself a DevOps manager. You're managing a team of 20 people. You want to see yourself a director of engineering in the next 6 years or in the next 7 years, right? You don't want to be in one place. That's the mentality that kills a lot of us from Africa. We don't want to keep developing. It's like, I've arrived, I just want to enjoy my life. That's detrimental to the career. IT continues to evolve, and if you don't keep learning, if you don't keep improving on yourself, trust me, you find yourself in one level, right? And you can begin to blame other factors. Of course, other factors contribute. We don't in our when our educational system doesn't give us the opportunity to be very analytical. Trust me, if I ask you to describe a dish, a food dish, right, to me,
Mm-hmm.
you describe that in maybe 5 sentences. But if I ask somebody who studies here and grows up here and knows the language and studies here, they will describe that same dish in 200 sentences. They will say, hey, you will say, I put green spices in, I use green spices in the sauce or whatever. But the person will say, I used celery, I used codman, I don't
But
know,
but
right?
mind you.
They will they will go through. So the
Yeah.
way we understand and transmit information is different, and so we have challenges. Those are the challenges that we have to deal with and complement with hard work, and that's exactly what we try to build at Primus Learning.
Yep, that is great. The reason I asked you that question is because I know that the way people learn really matters. It's very important
Right,
to in determining if, hey, is this something that they can hold on to long term?
right,
And
exactly.
thank you for explaining that, because the example I have used before is, hey, imagine that we went to school in Cameroon and we read all of those long textbooks and irrelevant things and took exams that
And
were
you don't
way
even
more
remember
difficult.
any of those now. You don't. I'm
There
very
we go.
convinced that you know, um, maybe 0.2% of all what you learn
In Cameroon,
is
right? So, which is true, and that's why the learning style, I always take that into consideration a lot.
right,
And I love to hear that you're doing the practice, like, hey, you do the theory and you do the practical, because that practical part is what sticks.
right,
It
exactly,
has I always used myself as an example. It worked for me transitioning from linguistics into Salesforce. Practicals is what made me understand Salesforce better. It is what made me to still be in that field today. And so I believe that it's very, when we talk about joining a training course, you should know that the way you're going to learn that course is going to be different from the way you studied in Cameroon, right?
right,
It's a whole
absolutely.
different ball game. And the intention is that at the end of the course, you should be able to do things. You should be able to do things. That is,
Exactly.
yeah, the importance here is being able to do things and not just knowing that that thing can be done. It's being able
And
to do
yeah,
it.
there's a certain fulfillment when you know exactly what you can do.
Yeah.
Like you know, the difficulty with us mostly, in our training systems, especially, is a lot of people graduate from universities with degrees in particular things. Let's say in economics, but they don't know exactly what they can do in that economic field. They can
Feel
go into the financial field, but they don't know exactly what they're going to do.
that
Will
degree.
I be an accountant? Do I have the skills that a real accountant has? Do I have the skills that a mortgage whatever has? Do I
Mm-hmm.
so the practical, real practical stuff is not there. And so you can't boast and say, hey, this is what I'm good at. You can say this is what I'm practically good at. I can do. Right, and so you see a lot of resumes with somebody just sharing and you don't see what you need. People want to hire people who are valuable, who contribute something to the organization. They don't just want to hire you because it is you. No, they want to
Yeah.
hire you because of the skill, what you bring to the organization. So for instance, if I want to hire somebody, um to join my team as a digital person, I'm not just hiring a general person who understands how to write things,
You
right?
have a need.
I have a need. I have a particular need. You need to be able to create this content for me this particular way. You need to be able to do this particular way. You need to be able to do this particular way. And so you can have a title. I can call you a DevOps engineer. I can call you a digital marketing expert or specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I can call you a a Salesforce expert or a
Mm-hmm.
Salesforce admin, a
Mm-hmm.
Salesforce this. I can call you an AWS solutions architect. I can call you a a web developer or a particular thing within web development. I can call you an Azure solutions architect. So you have a particular skill set. You can build stuff. You can build a pipeline. You can build an automated system that an organization actually uses. So
Yeah.
that's what we talk about when we're talking about practical skills. It's not like you just learn some generic things, and no, you are learning something that you can practically build something on your own, and people can see and realize that this is what is useful out there. So that's more of it, instead of being just generic.
Yeah. Thank you. This is amazing. I hope again it's weekend. I cannot take too much of your time. What time is that? 59. So again, I do appreciate that you came on. I do appreciate that you were talking about, and again, we've gone deeper into what Primus Learning is doing in all the countries that you have named. And there was something you mentioned that I wanted to pick you back a little bit on, and you talked about when people join, like when you get students to go through your training course with Primus Learning, you still keep tag on them so that even after the course, there is that level of continuous education, continuous learning, right?
Right.
This
Right.
is something that I personally do a lot. As we started a show and you were like, hey, congratulations on your Salesforce AI associate cert. I continuously learn, and there is an adage I always say. I still referring to my grandma, and I say I want to be able to have her caliber of brain. And to me, to keep my brain active is I have to continuously learn new things.
Right.
I challenge myself with the most difficult things that maybe I never imagined that I could do, and that just keeps me going. Right. So
Absolutely.
that extra spice that you've added onto Primus Learning, where you continuously support and encourage your graduates to make sure they dedicate time to learn, I think it's very important. The fact that we have that mentality of, whoops, I learned this. I have examples of people who landed their first IT job within 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, they got laid off.
Right. Exactly.
Yes, that
Exactly.
is, it happens a lot. And you, again, people like that will talk about, oh man, that is because they're not keeping up,
Right.
right? Having a
Exactly.
job does not mean that you have landed. You have not arrived anywhere. You're not see, you have not
Right.
arrived anywhere. There is that need for continuous learning. You have to continue to, and I always feel like, hey, if you have even gotten a job, right, it is an opportunity for you to look at the, maybe try to identify some of those gaps within the company you even work
Right.
for, right, and and fill them up, right? And
Exactly.
say, okay, I can dedicate to learn this. There is nobody that is actually an expert here. Maybe I can make myself more. Just again, man, there are tons of people out here who are learning skills. Companies are going to hire you based on what you can bring to the table.
Exactly. That's the point.
Right.
They
So
hire
they
you
will not
according to
hire
what
you
you bring.
because you spent 6 months or 1 year learning. They'll hire you because of the value you bring
Right.
to the
Exactly.
table. So we have to continuously learn, even after we do all these training courses. It is even such a blessing that we have the opportunity to pick up and learn skills like this and still integrate into corporate America or corporate Europe or whatever corporate, the corporate world, without necessarily going back to school to start afresh.
Right.
You get it? I think that it is such a blessing that we should use it and use it right. That is how I
Absolutely.
look at it. Support each other and see how we can use it and use it right. Maybe just from talking to you today, I might go back to school to complete that my abandoned PhD, but this time around, try to complete it in the
Please
IT
do.
space, maybe machine learning, right? I
Yeah.
hear you're offering
Absolutely.
machine learning, NLP, those are big. Natural language processing, those are
Yes.
amazing skills to have these days. Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, let
Amazing.
me throw it back to you if you have any final words before we close the show.
All right, just to encourage people, self development is something that you keep for yourself, right? You can give people all the time, you can give people all the good things out there, but if you don't self develop, if you don't build yourself, you have nothing that is yours. So I want to
Mhm.
encourage guys out there who are listening, please pick up a skill set and learn. And be consistent on it. Don't just pick it up and then learn for 2 weeks and you're like, oh man, I'm done.
Mhm.
Learn, be consistent, build it up, and you can become something that you didn't even imagine to become. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are my shout out words to anyone
Thank you
listening.
so much, Primus. I appreciate you for coming on the show again. This is something that I would definitely do once in a while, regularly, just to come up and talk about what is happening in the space, talk about some of the new things. Again, if a new course, when you start a new course on something and you feel like, hey, you want a platform to be able to talk about it here, you know your girls also babes is always here for you, right? You're always welcome on my platform to talk about the things we need to talk about, all with the intention to help build our community. So I
Awesome.
appreciate you so much. Again, you're just from talking through class, and I did not even give you a break. I put you right in to come on, only for you to come, and I have a messy session. Just again, the knowledge is there, but again, just forget the videos and the audio stuff. But at least I'm happy that the knowledge was there. So thank you again, and I do appreciate your time a lot.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Bye bye.
Thank you, Primus. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye. Hello, my people. Your girl So Babes. That was an amazing session. Yes, I had my internet glitches here and there, but again, I hope that you find value in this session. I hope that you are able to listen and share with your loved ones, right? So if you have not shared this yet, please kindly, when you click on this, click on the share button, and so that more people can watch and be inspired to be able to join the tech space, to be able to understand that, hey, tech is not for a specific kind of people. Tech is for everyone. All you need to do is find what works for you, dwell on it, build on it, go out there, show the recruiters and hiring managers what you can do. Once you get that job, you have to continuously learn, right? Please, please, let's erase that mentality of I have arrived in our community, where you work hard for you work for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, you finally get a tech job, and all you can do is like, hey, I have arrived and I'm done. Those are the people that are losing their jobs. Those are the people that are getting laid off because, in as much as you're doing that for a company, you're working for a company, just as Primo said, self-development is very important. You need to continuously self-develop. It is for you. If one day you're not working with that company anymore, you personally know that these are the skills that you have. Thank you so much, British ICT Consulting. Having specialized skills, it's what matters these days. Yes, you have to be able to pick something and be an expert in. General knowledge did not take us anywhere. Yes, some people were lucky to again found themselves in different places, but the truth is, specialized skill sets is what is going to change things for you. So I do encourage each and every one of you, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Do not hesitate to reach out to Primus Learning. Again, he has a whole Facebook page, Primus Learning. Check it out and ask all the questions that you have on there. They have a You can write to him, he will respond to you. He has a team he works with, and just go talk to them. Find out what they are offering. See how I wanted him to explicitly explain to us how the courses are run so that you can see that this could be for anyone, right? They break this thing down into little chunks that even anybody that you don't need to have any prior knowledge. You just need to be able to listen, disseminate information, follow instructions, and you're good to go. Okay. And I'm happy that he did explain that. And if you missed that, just rewatch the video, listen to how courses are run at Primus Learning. And man, give this thing a shot. Give it a try. It could just be your life-changing opportunity. Okay. Thank you all so much. You have an amazing weekend. And I bet that I'll see you people again sometime again tomorrow. My You Can Be Anything podcast will be on the Roy Mama Show for the Sunday Fun Day. For those of you who want to relax and have fun, join me on the You Can Be Anything podcast. Let's talk about any and everything that impacts our lives and still have fun. On my page, I do the serious business stuff. But when I join Roy Mama on Sunday Fun Days, it's just to relax and have fun and enjoy the goodness of life. Bridge Consulting, exactly. You don't need to come from an IT background to pursue an IT career. Yes, you don't need that. And I always say it, I came from linguistics, right? And I successfully pursued a path in the IT world, which I love today to my bones. You can also be able to find that path for yourself in the IT world that will work for you. Okay, there is a ton of things that you can do in this IT space. You just need to be able to find that one that works for you and hold on to it, become an expert in it. Avoid that tendency of jumping around, doing so many things, and finally not being an expert in any. All right. So I do appreciate you all again. Have a blessed weekend. And remember, a single act of kindness can go a long way. So all you need to do is to be good to each other. I love you all. Bye bye.